I chose the recipes today because I love simplicity, and I love to focus on anything fresh and anything local and anything that's in season, so that's why I came up with it. On today's show, what I thought we'd make is an arugula and corn salad with a smoked tomato vinaigrette.
Wow.
Does that sound
sounds
good?
great.
Okay, I thought it'd be perfect for Ron, my student, who is also a fire chief. So I thought, what a perfect one. A smoked tomato. Is that okay?
Let's
smoked
just
tomato.
keep the smoke in the kitchen.
Yeah, let's do that. You're right. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we're going to roast some peppers and roast some corn. We'll take these peppers and we're going to place them directly on the gas jets.
Okay.
So we'll turn that on high. Let me turn this on for you.
And no preparation, just placing it on
Nothing,
there.
just like that. So you just place your peppers right there. The only other thing that I ever use is some tongs. And just to turn them.
Turn them.
And I keep cooking them until they're black on all sides. Okay?
Oh, so I can't burn these.
No, you can't.
Okay.
No. So now corn. This is what we're going to do. So this is fresh corn. Absolutely wonderful. And what you're going to do is I like to pull back the husks like this. And don't take them off completely.
Okay.
But I pull them back all the way like that. And then what I do is I remove all of that silk.
So just pull the silk out.
Yes. Now you can remove a little bit of the husk if you want more of a smoky flavor on the corn. And then you just pull back these husks right on the corn, just like this. And it kind of steams and smokes at the same time. If you want, you can just twist this. Oh, you don't have one.
I don't have much of a top one here.
But I've got one. Okay, so next what we'll do is we'll put this right on the ridged grill.
All right. Any oil or anything in there?
Nothing. You want this to be dry.
All right.
So what I do with a ridge grill, this is a cast iron ridge grill. I love these for indoor grilling. If you don't want to go outside and grill, these are fabulous. They do. Sometimes they'll create a little bit of smoke, so you'll want to turn your fan on.
So you'll still get the imprint
Exactly.
on here.
But you want to make sure that this grill is nice and hot. So I heat it for at least 10 minutes before I put the corn on.
All right.
Okay?
Excellent.
Whoops, mine's a little long. So and that's all you do. Now, in the meantime, what we're going to do is make the vinaigrette. And I like to do it right in the blender. It's so easy.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is to take a tomato, and I'm gonna have you cut it. So there's a nice, sharp, serrated knife.
Just slice it down?
Yep. We're just popping that right into the blender, so it really doesn't matter how it looks even. You just don't want to slice your fingers. Perfect. And you can even cut this. We'll take that. And this, of course, you can throw that away.
Throw away.
I know what you thought. I think I'll pop that in my mouth. I know him really well. Okay, so you can place that in the blender.
All right.
And then next, we'll add a little bit of garlic. So Ron, little garlic in the vinaigrette.
Excellent. Now, are we going to roast this garlic like we're doing the peppers and the corn?
No, you could if you wanted to, but what that would do is it would really mellow the garlic flavor. I want a little punch from the garlic.
Okay.
I think that will be really nice in this vinaigrette.
The tips that I pick up in her kitchen are tips that you can use in your everyday cooking, and you're able to articulate to others as to why it's done that way.
Perfect.
All right. How many cloves do we need?
1 clove is fine. I think that's a good amount. Okay. Good.
Okay.
So let's turn those. Let's see that. I'm sure by now they're really nice and black. Yes, perfect. That's what you want, is black on all sides.
So you don't want to see any red?
No, because if it's red, the skin is not going to peel off there.
Okay.
Let's turn these two and see how those look. Oh, yeah, this is what you want. See
that looks great.
That's perfect. See this corn? That's excellent. Let's see. See this?
Yes. I see the coloration has changed.
And it's also gonna give that nice smoky flavor to the corn. All right, let's add a little bit of oil and also some vinegar. So of course you want a really nice red wine vinegar. So I would add, let's say about 2 tablespoons.
Now, you're going to trust my judgment on the measurement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I always do this. You know, you can grab, well, that was probably good. That's probably good. You can, if you want, you can grab measuring spoons, but you know, with something like a vinaigrette, you can always fix it.
Okay.
So, you know, if it's got too much oil, you add a little bit more vinegar. If it's got too much vinegar, you add a little bit more oil. So it's really, you know, cooking is pretty easy. It's not as hard as fighting fires. Well,
cooking's
you know,
still a science, though. I'm learning this.
It's true. Now, a nice fruity extra virgin olive oil. It's really got wonderful flavor.
Okay.
So you can add. I like to do either 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. So that means for each 1 tablespoon of vinegar, we do either 3 tablespoons or 4 of olive oil.
All right.
So I would say probably about 3. We can start there.
All right.
You can always fix it. That's what I say. You can always fix it. A little touch more.
Ah.
Good. Okay, now what do you need?
How about some seasoning?
Yeah, I like it. Okay, what do you use first?
Well, I like to put some pepper.
Okay, pepper. Good. Light on the pepper. And then also
Some sea salt or kosher salt?
You can use kosher salt or you can use sea salt. What I usually use is kosher salt. And I love this salt because I talk about this so much, but I love kosher because the granules are really large. Feel that.
It is.
So it's really easy to regulate. You can really see how much you're adding.
Putting in there.
It also tastes really good. And it also is a salt. Kosher salt melts much faster than any other salt.
Now that
so
I
try
didn't
some
know.
salt.
All right. And again, we can doctor this up later.
He needs more. You need more salt. We can always add more, you're right. But what does salt do, really, when you're cooking? What's it do?
Well, you know, I always find it just brings the flavors out more.
Exactly. You must have studied with me a lot. No, no, that's what I always say. It brings out the flavor. It's really true. It accentuates the flavor. Let's go back to the peppers.
These are smelling great.
I think these are really close. I mean, there's some little spots. No, those are good. I think we can just turn that off. Woo! We got a little smoke going on. Okay, you can place those, Ron, right on the counter. Woo! What we're going to do now is steam those. And what I like to do, this is so easy because everybody's got a bowl and it's not wasteful. You can just place that right on the top and invert it, and the steam will just kind of stay inside the bowl, and then the peppers will soften. So that's nice too. Let's see how these are doing. And if you find that you're not getting enough of those nice grill marks, what you can do is you can even take some of this off.
Okay.
If you really want more of the grill marks. Yes. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to peel the peppers. So, let's see how these are. I'm sure these are fine. Yeah, these are really nice and soft.
Ah, they smell great.
This. Oh, doesn't that? Oh, I love that. So your hands are going to be a mess. But one of the things about this is that if you run these, everybody wants to run these under water. I mean, I want to. And sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I do it. But really, if you do that, you're gonna lose the flavor. So I try so hard just to use my hand. Let me grab a small knife. Here you go, I grabbed you one too. Because what I like to do, if you want, you can take your knife and you can cut your pepper like this. And then you can just take your knife and just remove the skins and try not to run to the sink.
All right.
And wash it. You can wash your hands after, but really, you do lose the flavor.
So just scraping it off.
Yep. And then you've got all those seeds inside. You can do the same thing. Now, see how I have a little bit of the black? A touch of that's not gonna matter. And that's also going to give a nice smoky flavor. Now, you don't want a lot of that because then it would be too smoky.
Okay.
Oh, I think that's great, Ron. I think it's done. For sure.
Now, are these ears different? I noticed that one is really bright yellow.
Yellow.
And the other one.
They're two different varieties. I thought it'd be kind of nice to mix it up, and you know, you can use a butter and sugar. You can use whatever you find. I always just try to find the sweetest corn.
Okay.
All right, so let's take this off, and we can just set it aside. It's not too hot. We'll set it aside while we finish the vinaigrette.
All right.
Okay. Okay, shall we taste?
Yes, we should. I love to taste.
Oh, smell that. It's the vinegar and the smokiness and...
Where's yours?
You want this in a glass? Whenever I'm making a salad, I always take the lettuce or whatever vegetables are in combination with the vinaigrette and I dip it in. That's the only way. I make a little lettuce wad and then taste.
Joanne, this is great.
Really like
Can we
it?
taste again?
You can taste again. Go ahead. But you know what I think would be fun? I think we should try this with the wine we're going to serve with it. Because people are so afraid to serve wine with a salad, and I want to show you that we can easily do that.
Okay.
Want to open a bottle of wine?
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah. I think you've had some experience. Pour
May I
just
do
a
the honors?
splash, absolutely. Just a sip and we'll see how this is. You can see I always make this little, I love the texture of this dressing. It stays in
great.
emulsion, it's so great. Now try your wine.
This is amazing.
Delicious, huh? Isn't that wonderful?
It's zesty.
It just kind of, yeah.
I like that.
And it just kind of softens in your mouth. It's really wonderful. Okay, what we'll do, Ron, is place this arugula in the bowl. And you know, if it looks a little stemmy like this, you know, it's
Yes.
got long stems, I remove some of those.
All right.
What we get to do now is to peel those husks back. And I love this, just that little bit of the grill marks on the corn. Break it in half, cut side down, knife, and then if the cob isn't too tall, when it falls, it won't fall onto the floor. It'll just fall on your work surface. This smells so good. The white corn. I'll grab this. You can take that wonderful vinaigrette that we know is perfect and pour a little bit of your vinaigrette in the bottom of the bowl. Now, I know this is a little bit different than the way you usually make a salad because what you usually do is toss the greens with the vinaigrette. But I thought with this one, it won't look quite as nice because the vinaigrette on this it'll kind of make it heavy.
Make it heavy.
So I like it this way. What I do is I just toss the corn and arugula together and I just place a little mound of this right on the top. I'm making my own right here. And I have that dressing on the bottom, and the idea is you can just kind of toss it as you eat.
Ah.
And if you want, after, you can grab a little bit of the corn and place it on the top. I've got a couple different kinds of olives. I've got a nice Spanish green, and then we've got some Niçoise olives from France. They both have pits in them, so you want to warn people if you're serving them. But, you know, I love both of these, and I think they'll give lots of flavor and color. And look, you put those around the edge. Absolutely beautiful.
That looks great.
And then finally, we've got some tomatoes. The reason I like to put tomatoes is we've got the tomatoes in the vinaigrette.
Correct.
So we'll tie it together with some nice fresh tomatoes. And I love these. Look at the colors. These are called toy box tomatoes because when they come in the little container, they look like toys in a box. But they're kind of fun. So you can slice them in half. I like the texture better if they're sliced in half. I find that if you leave them whole, I don't like that big burst in your mouth. So I think cherry tomatoes should be sliced for the most part. Now, finally, I just take a cheese shaver, and I love this one, but a cheese shaver, and I just shave a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano right onto the top. And I love, you could use a vegetable peeler if you want, but I find that this cheese shaver works so well, and I use it for so many salads. But you want Parmigiano Reggiano because it's got the nicest flavor.
Well, I'll just stick the chunk on the side of my bowl.
Okay. There you go. Here's the idea. You just kind of take your salad and you toss it around, but the idea is to just, with every bite, get some arugula, get some of the tomatoes, some of the cheese. Yum. Ron can't talk now. He's so excited. Let's. So Ron, I know when you get home from work, like everybody else, you want to make something that's really simple. You want something that's really fresh, but you also want to make sure it's just like you can get it done like that.
Oh, quick, but make sure it's hearty.
Yeah.
I like to eat.
Well, you've been fighting fires all day. I mean, you really want to have something that's really good, right? Okay, I've got a perfect one for you, and it focuses again on cherry tomatoes, which I love. It's summer. Use the best of what's available.
Okay.
So, pasta water. We've got that boiling. And what does the water need?
I would say a little bit of salt.
Yes. Add a good handful of salt.
All right.
And when I say that, I mean I grab a handful, and it's really there just for flavor. You want to make sure that that water's boiling when you add the salt.
And
That's great.
intensifies the
See?
boil.
Exactly, that's what you're looking for. Okay, now you can just add the pasta right to the pan. Water's still boiling, that's exactly what you're looking for. There you go. Now, you don't really need to use that cover. What we'll
Okay.
do is you can put the cover aside right now. So next what we're going to do is the breadcrumbs. Now I thought this would be kind of fun to do some crispy breadcrumbs on the top. You want a good coarse textured bread and just grind that in your food processor, and you can see that this is, nice fresh breadcrumbs. Next, what you can do, Ron, is just to drizzle a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and I would say a couple of tablespoons.
Couple. Okay.
You wonder why I'm doing that?
Yeah, probably to roast it or toast it.
Yes, and it'll give flavor, but it'll also crisp them a little bit.
Okay.
Now, what's gonna bring out the flavor?
Some more seasoning.
A little bit of salt, exactly. I don't use pepper now, but just a little bit of salt. So I would say it's a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Perfect. Okay, you can go ahead and just toss that together. And that just distributes that olive oil with the breadcrumbs. We're gonna pop this in the oven.
All right.
So 375 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. Now, the one thing you want to do is you want to make sure during the process, I always have a spatula because what happens around the edges is they'll get darker faster.
Okay.
So I want to toss them and make sure that they toast consistently. Okay, easy. We're gonna make another vinaigrette, a little bit of balsamic. And I like balsamic because it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. And it really accentuates the sweetness of those cherry tomatoes. So you can put some in the bowl.
All right.
I want you to know that my job is it really is rocket science.
Well, sometimes I hear about light
You get a little bit more. Because this is really gonna be our sauce, so that's good. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil.
All right.
Now this is a little different than before because we're not gonna use that same ratio of 3 or 4 to 1.
One.
Now, we're gonna do it almost equal.
Wow.
Okay, almost equal. I think that's probably good.
That looks great.
Okay, now some salt.
Okay. Okay.
You wanna make sure that your vinaigrette has a little bit of saltiness to it. Let's whisk this together.
Okay.
All right, we'll set that aside, and we can always taste that later when we have the cherry tomatoes.
All right.
Now we've got our work cut out for us because now what we're going to do is we're going to slice these in half, just like the same thing we did for that salad. So you take your serrated knife, cut these in half, top to bottom. And I love to use a mixture. If you have yellow, red, orange, even the green cherry tomatoes that you can find sometimes,
Yes.
all of those are so great. What we'll do is we just add the tomatoes right into the bowl. Now, before we toss that with the pasta, the very best thing to do is to make sure you taste them. So let's see. So we want to see, do we have enough vinaigrette? Do we have enough acid? Do we have enough salt? Let's see.
You're speaking my language.
What do you think?
I like it.
Okay, what do you think?
I would add a little bit more salt.
Okay, little bit. I think so too. And actually, you could have a little bit more acid, a little bit more of the balsamic, because that's going to bring out the sweetness too. So let's add that, stir that together again. Now you can see that's a really easy sauce to make. Let's check the breadcrumbs. Let's see how these are doing, Ron. Oh, they're
Oh,
perfect.
those great.
See how around the edges they're nice and golden?
Yes.
That's what we're looking for. It's excellent. We've got a colander in the sink. You can just pour it right in there. What you can do is just to take this pasta, pour it right into the bowl. You want a nice big serving bowl for this.
So no need to rinse it.
No, you don't want to rinse it. That's
Okay.
going to cool the pasta and it seizes the starch so it'll all stick.
Okay.
No, directly. Okay, next we take all these beautiful cherries. You do the honors. Pour them right over the top. And you want to make sure those are room temperature. Don't add them when they're cold or that will chill your pasta. Oh my goodness, does this look good or what? This is so my style. I love this kind of food. Yum! Now this is easy. You said easy. So we've got some nice crispy breadcrumbs. We can just sprinkle those right over the top. But that's not all. Finally, the last thing is we're gonna put some basil on the top. We don't want that to cool too much, so let me show you very quickly a chiffonade. What I do is I take the basil like this, and even if you have some nice big leaves like this, you can
Yes.
kind of roll them all up together. We'll take our chef's knife. We'll let you practice after, and then you just cut this into thin strips.
Wow.
Just like this. Do you want to try one?
It's shredded.
Isn't that cool? And then you just sprinkle this. Look at this, right over the top. Okay.
This is the tasting time.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, that looks great, Joanne.
Isn't it?
Bon appetit.
Oh, thank you.
I would love to spend an entire week with that lady to learn everything that's upstairs. She has the ability to express things and explain things in what I call a simplistic form that it sinks in.
When you do hands-on cooking like this, it's really all about the technique and giving people some confidence. If I can give Ron a little bit of confidence and Ron's excited about food, of course he's gonna go home and cook that much more. And that's what makes me happy. That's summer. It's summer on a plate. Wonderful. And it's really amazing. Really, the breadcrumbs, that crunchiness of the breadcrumbs, it just brings this alive. I think that's what's nice. It's the texture, it's the flavors, it's everything.
Everything's very fresh.
Yes.
The basil on top adds a little pizzazz to it.
That's good. You want it simple. Well, Ron, to the best student.
An excellent teacher.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.